What's going on, everybody? Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics here with Eli, my business partner and younger brother.
How's it going, buddy?
What's up, man? Good, how are you?
I'm just really excited to be here.
Yeah, first time on the podcast.
First time on this podcast, first time on a real podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you'd mentioned you tried to make one in college, right?
We did one time, and kind of like what you and Jake experienced with like the microphone, like not picking up and different problems. We had to recreate the same episode 3 times, and after the third time, we're like, no, not worth it. we have college, no.
Jake and I have tried now twice, so this will be the third time that he and I try to do it just through technical difficulty alone. I don't think people realize what goes into this, like what is actually involved when you actually want to do a podcast with transitions and audio, and it's a whole process. It's just the technology.
Oh yeah, no, it's really like learning by experience, because I mean you're gonna make mistakes in anything you do, and when technology's involved, especially if you're not used to. I mean, these cameras specifically, like we're using it for the first time. So everything is kind of like a new frame of reference. You have to relearn everything that we normally would have done.
Yeah.
Problems happen.
Yeah, they do. No, but I'm excited about it. I love it because it gives such a big, broad base to new people. And I love that it's going to give us a way to shout out our sponsors and how to, get our brand more exposure. And that's really the 2 big talking points that I want to talk to you about, just with your background at school. First of all, for those who don't know, what was your education formerly at TCU?
I was a double major of entrepreneur management and marketing with an emphasis in consultative selling. It's a weird word to say, but that was a little bit about kind of my understanding of the marketing world in general.
Gotcha.
But like most people my age, I spend way too much time on every social media, seeing what worked and what doesn't work. And that kind of helps with what we're doing because you have the content. It's here. Like we've grown up together, so we know each other's personalities very well, and you were born to be in front of the camera. It's just a fact. And it makes my life so much easier because there's never been a time where I'm like, hey, how about you do this? And you're like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Most people are not that confident.
Put me out there, Chief. I'm not afraid to expose myself.
Exactly. No. But when it comes to movies, when it comes to your mind, I mean, look at the last video that we posted.
Yeah.
Who would have thought of the Little Mermaid song? I haven't seen that movie in probably 15 years,
Set
if
to
not longer.
The gym tour question from TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that does well. No, what is it about the brand that attracted you to it in the beginning? Because I've been doing this for, call it 5 years by myself. And then this last year we've partnered up. What is it about this brand that attracted you?
Look out on social media. Who else has a gym that's even close to this? And when I mean close to it, I mean, a lot of this equipment you can find. Yeah, it's expensive. It takes a lot of fixed costs in general, but the Marvel theme, how you've set this up, how you've utilized the space, we talked about there's one spot in the gym that you even notice, we need to fill stuff there. Other than that, you've basically compacted with the best equipment across all the different fields. That's something that I would not be an expert in at all. But the fact that you already have it established, you have a brand, it just made it a lot easier to step in and kind of use what you already have and then take it a step further with new platforms, this podcast, everything that we're doing on the back end. It just all complement each other. Yeah. And it's something that I'm super excited to be a part of, and I'm glad I'm part of the team.
I am too, man. And really, it just allows me to grow in areas that I really want to. And wearing too many hats can oftentimes be kind of a downfall, especially for someone like me who becomes, shall we say, OCD with his business and with every minute detail of it, and just wanting everything to be perfect and obsessing over everything, the marketing, the programs, the training, the actual gym itself, and the maintenance. Learning to sort of delegate that to somebody who knows more about it than I do, and especially when it comes to marketing, I like making content, and I like content creation and being, like you said, I love being in front of the camera. I think it's fun. I think it's entertainment. It allows me to be very expressive in a way that yields a reward. But I did not understand marketing. I thought I did. I didn't.
And going off of that, just like what you said about being OCD, about it's your brand, it's your business. That's the most important thing. I mean, you have to be meticulous. You have to be OCD about every little thing. And when you have that hat of you're training, how many hours a day do you train on a usual day?
9.
Yes, you're training 9 days. Or sorry, 9
9
hours
a day.
per day.
Yeah.
I mean, you add sleep into that. You have your own workout. You have Alfie that you have to take care of. There's so many things. Master's program. No, there's way too much that you have to have, and that's why you build a team around you that you can trust to take certain things off of your plate. I mean, we talked about editing, and when it comes to editing podcasts and videos and stuff like that, it's something that it may not be our strength. That's where it's kind of a compliment to bring someone who knows that better than us to make it easier. And I mean, we're both pretty similar when it comes to trying to be very articulate with what we do and in the way that we approach, I mean, Become the 1%, Strict Vision Athletics, the whole brand. Everything needs to be that way.
Absolutely. And, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I always have sought to be a sponge with everything relating to my business. I took a Instagram marketing class. I've done dozens and dozens of certifications and all different kinds of stuff within the field of training, but allowing, certain jobs to be taken by other people allows you to focus more and stay in your niche. And who was it? I think it might even have been Dad who said, somebody who tries to be outstanding at everything ends up being outstanding at nothing.
Yeah.
And if you really do stick to your niche and you find something, even if you stick to like 3 things that you love and really are passionate about, if you grow and you focus, I feel like that's probably the best way to do it in a business.
No, and when it comes to your knowledge base of everything when it comes to training, how to meal prep, all of the aspect of like your body, like cold to hot therapy, all of that. I mean, look at what you're doing now. You're getting your master's program. You're reading, I forgot the book, The Fifth Step Method by, what's his name?
Oh, Swede Burns.
Burns.
That one. Yeah.
No, but that's what you have to do when you are in a specific company or a specific industry. You are the expert. People expect you to know everything.
More so now that I'm 30.
Not yet.
It's so strange. It like comes with almost in a week, but it comes with, I feel like it comes with a certain level of, it doesn't come with expertise, but it comes with certain people's expectations that you might have expertise. Like when you're in your 20s, I don't think anyone expects expertise from you. They're surprised when you have it, and they're like pleasantly surprised that you show it. But when you're 30, I feel like there's more of an expectation that whatever you've been doing for the last decade, that you've gotten somewhat good at it. And the sad thing is, I don't think that's, necessarily fair for a lot of 30-year-olds.
Yeah, and vice versa. It's also not fair to like assume that younger individuals are not experts in their field. I mean, it really comes down to the individual. And I'd say as a stereotypical standpoint, yeah, it's probably accurate. Most 20-year-olds probably are not experts in their field, whatever that is. And going off of what you said, it really takes that time aspect of, yeah, what do you know up here, but how much have you actually lived out? How much have you done yourself? And once you kind of get that just kind of puts you on that next level of, yeah, you have the knowledge, but now you've actually lived it out.
Speaking of the next level, what do you see the next level for this being? What is your goal for Strict Vision Athletics? What do you have in mind?
That's a really great question. Are we talking like a 5-year goal, or are we talking like just in general of where we were trying to build this into?
In 5 years, what would you like to have accomplished, the two of us, in 5 years?
I mean, we've definitely talked about a few different brands that we really want to be a part of, build theirs. I don't know if you want me talking about the conversations that we've had specifically about brands, but yeah, of course we want branding deals, but we want this to be more of a household name. You have a lot of great products when it comes to your amino acids that we haven't even touched on. You have.
We can talk about it. I mean, we want to eventually partner with a company like Gymshark. We want to get our product line off the ground. We want to obviously have a larger base to be influencers at. The podcast, I sincerely see the podcast being huge.
Right.
5 years from now. 5 years from now, we'll have a YouTube channel with thousands and thousands of hours of video content. Hopefully, we'll have hundreds of professionals that are either local or, anyone who's coming in here, business, health related or otherwise.
Yeah.
Just, I think that is going to be an outstanding platform for this company to grow and to really help out the people that are sponsoring us.
Yeah. And I think, kind of going back to your question, I think that for me, kind of where I see this going is because anyone can become a quote unquote influencer. Like we want to be more than that. Yeah. And we've had this conversation a few times of, anyone can kind of promote a product, sell a product. That in marketing is not necessarily the hardest thing. Mm-hmm. For us, it's really the educational thing. You have so much knowledge in this space. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked about Elite FTS, about they love their coaches to be educators, to give that knowledge back.
Totally.
And kind of giving that back really is a lot of kind of where I see this being, of not just giving great workouts, great meal plans, but why do we set these plans out? Why do we set the specific meal plan for the individual person, and what goes into that? Because there's a lot of stuff that you do on the back end that probably no one sees. No one knows the research that you've put into your meal plans, your workouts. You do a lot that most people don't see. Mm-hmm. And kind of that knowledge of kind of doing it yourself, that's kind of more of a trend now, of the DIY, of do it yourself. And when it comes to building things, or you can be that platform, but for fitness, and teach people how to meal prep, how to do all of these different things, and use your platform not just as something that you are building your brand of, but also giving back in that way.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And the community that we're creating through the online presence that we have, I'll just take TikTok as an example. I think, being an educator, we're constantly getting nailed with those questions, dozens and dozens and dozens of questions, health related or otherwise, where I think, the podcast and this right now, what I think could be really cool is, we could maybe, pool those questions together, get them because this would be the setting where we can answer those questions sincerely. Not like while I can give a real brief answer while we're doing a workout and we're live and someone sends a question in. But if they send questions in and we really sit down and we do this, I could actually prepare answers that, I know people want to hear. And oftentimes those questions you send me sometimes where I'm like, they ask a robust question about something that is impossible to answer over a text message.
Exactly,
how do I bulk up? ? I'm like, wow, well, that's going to be a really long text message. But this would be a setting where we could, show analytics, talk about programming, talk about dieting, anything like that. And I think we should take this to, in some way, take this to our platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and we need to ask, what do people want to hear?
Want to know.
Instagram, what do you guys want to hear? I can't see your comments now because we're live and you're far away, but let us know, you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? You guys provide us with whatever content you want to discuss, and then we will talk about it here on the podcast.
And I think going off of that, when people, just like the world we live in, everyone wants the instant gratification or right then and there. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to a content creation of what we're doing, each video that we create, we usually post one a day. That's usually how we've been structuring everything, just because it keeps us on track. But when people are asking constant questions, we can literally do a podcast and answer 25 at one time, and different content. We can still create the video specifically for the TikTok and show a visual, but we can answer a lot on top of all of that and go into way more detail on a different platform.
This is one area, and we both are kind of in agreement that, our Facebook group is, it's not our absolute favorite platform to interact with, but I will say this. The Facebook group is outstanding for asking questions, because if you ask questions in the Facebook group, we will respond to them in 24 hours.
Right.
It's a million times easier, especially being in a group and in a community with other people that are involved with us. Oftentimes your question will be answered before we even get to it. But the Facebook group is probably the best platform for that specific reason, for the Q&A back and forth between trainer and trainee type of conversation. That's probably the Facebook group. I feel like each platform brings something that the others don't have.
No, and Facebook is really good when it comes to building a community. Like, yeah, people can respond on like a TikTok or an Instagram, but really when you're in that group of like-minded individuals that want to know about a specific subject, like fitness, like health, diet, all of that, it can be very useful. Again, kind of reiterating what your point was when it comes to Facebook. Yeah, it's a different platform. It's a different audience. Most people, especially my age, don't really go on Facebook that much. But like this podcast, not everyone listens to a podcast. We're trying to reach the biggest audience when it comes to fitness, health, pretty much anything regarding that aspect of your life of do-it-yourself or just healthy individuals.
Yeah.
We are trying to reach them at whatever platform they are at, whether that's Facebook groups, Instagram, TikTok, because not everyone believes in TikTok. Not everyone likes it. No.
It's a small snippet video of young kids controlled by a Chinese company. So I get it. I was really reluctant to do TikTok in the beginning. I just didn't see the value at all.
And then the first video we made, got 1.5 million views, something insane.
That's
like
right.
That.
That was the video with, I remember the what was it?
It's like everyone has that one thing
in their house, but ours is this,
Yeah.
and it's the garage gym. That thing knocked it out of the park.
Well, no one has ever seen something like this. Going back to what I was saying about you have something special. I mean, I'm looking right now at Tony Stark. I don't even know what it's called.
Piece,
the heart piece. It's just glowing in the background. Most people are not that particular when it comes to what they're doing, and you've been so meticulous with everything, the color schemes. We talked about branding and you putting your logo on everything.
Yeah.
and that's a great thing because you can't look at one point of the gym and not see Strict Vision Athletics.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And for what we're doing for content creation, it's amazing to me because anytime, I'll give you a perfect example. Someone comes in and does a photo shoot and they take photos in here of them doing maybe 10 action poses. Then they go home. Then they post one of those pictures, but they don't tag me. Guaranteed, no matter what it is that they're doing or touching or near, my name is somewhere in the background around there.
Still, I'm mad at them for not tagging you.
I am too, man. There was one. I'm not gonna talk back about anybody right here.
We're the same.
Oh,
mindset.
This person, they didn't tag me. I was like, please tag me. I can't believe this has to be discussed again. But
one bad scenario.
It's all good. And putting your name and branding properly it's a very simple, I'm not going to say it's an inexpensive way because it's actually quite expensive to brand all of your stuff, but a well worth it expense in the long run. Just getting your name out there. And you're right. I have seen 200-300 different garage gyms all over Facebook and Instagram, and there's all those pages where they dedicate to garage gyms and they bring in, and I've never seen anything like this. And I knew at the beginning that I wanted it to be different. I didn't really see how much more, that's a bad sentence structure, but that I didn't see how much different it could become. But as time has gone on, I've realized that it's the small things and it's what I've done that makes it different that is what is drawing attention.
Right. No, I mean, the comic book themed, we were both obsessed with Marvel, DC. We're nerds, 100%. No way around that.
Absolutely.
And what's so great about that is most people are obsessed with either Marvel or DC. There's very few individuals that genuinely do not like superhero characters or anything like that. And
they're usually all about it or they're ambivalent.
Exactly. And most people that are into fitness, they want the body that the specific superhero has. Exactly. Everyone has that idea of, Ben Affleck and Batman was yoked. Like, there's always that one character that you can point
Batman.
to.
But yes.
Horrible Batman.
Batman.
We're talking about fitness here.
Yeah, we can't get on this topic. We're going to just go down a rabbit hole and then people are going to be like...
But it complements. It's bringing in kind of someone's like childhood into fitness, making it more interesting and fun, even though
And it broadens the spectrum of people who would be interested in it. I mean, it's, there's a lot of people that are into comics and that are into Marvel that may not be into fitness, but they see this, the combination of the two, and they're like, well,
I'll watch their videos.
I may not go and work out with him because he seems nuts, but I will watch his videos and I'll follow his content. And maybe one day I'll change my mind.
That's literally what I was going to say. It's like, it kind of like brings in like the childhood, and like you want to be there and have fun, but then you come here and you're insane and it's not fun for people. They get a lot healthier and a lot better, but when I'm working out with you, it's not something it's a look forward to my day. And now it is at this point.
You've really taken control of your health, man. And that's not a laughing matter. That's something that in the last year you've done a really good job with. Jake and I were talking about that earlier.
But it comes down to what we were talking about earlier today about habit. And I'm reading the book, The Power of Habit, right now. And
you know the author?
I do not. I'll pull it up in a second.
The Power of Habit or The Power of the Habit?
I think it's Power of Habit.
If you have your phone, you look it up.
Habit. But no, basically the concept of it takes a very scientific approach, and there's many studies that have been done of basically how building a habit can change and kind of morph your life into something different. And they use different examples of people that have had Alzheimer's in the past, and their mind literally cannot...
Alzheimer's?
Yes.
Is that what? Alzheimer's, okay.
Yeah, I don't enunciate my words well, but as I say I messed that up too. But someone that literally cannot remember, but if they have built a habit even during that, they still kind of function. And for the longest time, they couldn't really figure out why that was. And this book kind of goes into building habits and how important it is.
Does it say how, who's the author?
Charles Duhigg, Duhigg.
Okay. And the name of the book is?
The Power of Habit.
Why we do what we do. That's a good book. I would love to discuss, books that we're reading and stuff that we're, talking about, either me with my masters or you with, something, a business book, anything. Yeah, anything like that. But does it talk about in the book any sort of a timeline with regards to how long it takes to form a true habit?
It goes into like rat tests and how long it takes and like monkeys and like the actual study. And I'm on chapter 3. I will preface it with that. I'm very early on the chapter, but for each chapter, I'm listening to it as an audible, is like an hour long. So they're long chapters.
Gotcha.
I'm sure in the next chapter or so, it will get down to actually creating the habits and changing them, because habits are a double-edged sword. They can be for good or bad.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna be my follow-up question was, how long does it take to make a habit, and how long does it take to break a habit? Because we've all got
going to be harder.
Yeah, we've all got habits in our life that are bad that need to be changed.
Oh, and I even noticed with myself, and it's kind of like I'm kicking myself because I'm reading the book. I understand the habits that I do. And like once, like I eat at Chipotle way too much. I know it. I know it's not good, but I still do it.
It's convenient. And it's
convenient.
Easy, and it's
easy.
Good.
It's
Chipotle's
really
delicious.
Good. Really good. And relatively, you can make it healthy if you actually...
What were we talking about today? The quesarito.
That was recent. That was bad.
Shout out to the quesarito. Man, that's the best cheat meal.
Oh, it's an amazing cheat meal. Add DQ to that, and Jake and I will just absolutely love that. But
you guys, man, you and Jake, I've never known a couple of food. He's worse than you though. He's like the worst sweet tooth of anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. He just can't. Candy, ice cream, brownies, cake. He doesn't matter to him. He just wants it.
Oh, we're on the same page with that. Like if he says, "Hey, do you want to go do that?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm in." 100%, no questions asked. It goes back to what you said. It's not considered a cheat meal if you were never on the diet in the first place.
Yeah.
that's kind of like my bad habit that I've had and I'm trying to break it is when it comes to diet, because the easiest part is what I've been doing when it comes to working out every single day. The diet part really is like a mental game, because you're really going against all the habits that you've built out of, oh, I'm hungry, let me just
let's go get Cane's.
Let's go get Cane's.
Yeah.
Instead, let's go get a banana or something.
It's not just a mental habit, but you have to physically cook your own food. So it physically takes time. You have to block out time. I cook. I don't know how long I cook for each day. I mean, I would wager a minimum of an hour a day. I cook, and I'm quick.
So you've been eating healthy for years now. Do you remember the short term when you first started eating a lot healthier? I don't know if you even will remember that because it's been probably years since.
Wait, okay. What do you mean by the short term?
So when I'm saying when you start a diet, kind of the psychological, like you feel different. And usually in the beginning, it's not necessarily a good feeling because you're drained, you're not eating as much carbohydrates.
Yeah. So there's
depending on the diet.
My sort of life road with nutrition took two big turns. The first one was probably when I was about 17 or 18 and I started lifting weights. That's when I really started researching diet, started looking into, how to put on muscle, how to burn fat, how to stay lean, what to do if you want to bulk up fast, what to do to maintain. And then, but I was still 17. So I was still eating Chipotle. Chipotle for me was probably the biggest downfall for my dad. Cause I did eat good. I cooked a lot of my meals, but I ate Chipotle every single,
I remember how big that. I've never seen a bowl. Literally, this is the bowl,
like a
and it
mound.
would go over. I didn't know how they fit it ever.
They didn't either. Everyone knew me and was afraid of me, and just
we would go. There's like 4 scoops of pico, and I'm like,
extra. I'd be like, you need to drain that because it's not going to fit. If you do, it's going to come out the bottom. It's a whole thing. But yeah. The second big change was when I stopped doing that, when I went away from eating any food that was cooked outside of my own kitchen. Mm-hmm. That has by far been the best change I've made in my diet and really probably in my health. Measuring your own food, buying and accounting for every single calorie that you eat is really the only way, I think, to ensure that you are staying on track if you're counting macros. And I don't even count macros now. I've done this for so long. I know exactly how much I need to eat if I want to maintain, if I want to gain, or if I want to lose. It's small. For me, it's small changes if I want to do something like that. But that's me over a period of years, trial and error, just learning it on myself. And we can learn to diet ourselves a lot easier than someone else.
And what do you walk weight-wise, just a normal physique, not when you're bulking or shredding?
I fluctuate around 200.
Okay.
Light for me is probably, 188 to 195, and then high is 195 to 200, maybe 205. 205 is heavy. I was definitely 205 for the last couple months just because I was injured and couldn't run.
Right.
And now I'm starting to move again. I just did Camelback, for the last, even I was a little bit like, man, I kind of didn't really miss a beat. I'll be honest, I was absolutely gassed when I did that, but I was pissed. I was like, because you go away for a month and a half, you don't do it at all, and that's 6 hikes. So I missed 7 weeks worth of hiking. So I missed 7 hikes. And in that time, I don't know how much my, VO2 max went up or down. I don't know, but I know that it felt worse than it did when I got injured and I was doing it routinely.
And to give you perspective, when you mentioned Camelback, my calves started cramping just with the thought of actually running up it.
With the thought of having to climb and
scale
that.
It's weird how your mental... psychologically, like we talk about ice baths, I'm like, nope.
Immediately.
Like immediately, like, nope, run away. It's like the fight or fight scenario.
Or flight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm running.
Oh yeah.
And that's not something I'm proud of. I say it like I'm proud. No, that's not. But when we talk about building those habits, I got to the point, the ice bath, where I was doing 10 minutes. And then we had to obviously restructure the ice bath a little bit. And during that time period, I got out of it.
When I had to fix it, have Mike take it apart and put it together and everything. Yeah. Oh, that's when you stopped. Is that when?
That's when I stopped, and I never got back into it. It was. I already broke the habit of going in after the workout, and I was like, nope.
It's not something the ice bath is great, but you really don't need to be doing it more than, call it 3 or 4 times a week. If you do an ice bath 3 times a week, that's giving you a very, very healthy regimen for recovery.
Right.
And for me, I do a pretty diverse, I do that, and I've kind of gotten accustomed to doing this this red light laser therapy that I'm going to bring in, hopefully the next podcast or so. I'm going to bring in Jorge. He's the guy who's been working with me over at Universal Wellness. But
how's that been working out for you?
Something's happening.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I was very skeptical in the beginning, just because I knew. I've been studying recovery for the past decade. I'd never even heard of this. I didn't know this existed. I'm thinking, okay, this is like a tanning bed that someone turned the light bulb down on, and they're going to now sell it for $50 a session, tell you that it recovers you. Something happens. I've only done it for 1 week, and I can tell you that I feel better now than I have in months, even before, especially before I was injured. Injuries are funny. They're a funny way that our body has of letting us know that you need to stop.
Yeah.
You need to, and it's why I try to structure my workouts and sort of, obviously periodize them over a time where they're not always like just gung-ho balls to the wall as far as like the toughness of them. But even that, I'm still doing something 7 days a week. And if you do that for years, and it's been years since my last injury, years and years I've been doing this, probably 2, maybe 3 years since I had a last major injury that knocked me out like this. I mean, this was, because remember, my infraspinatus in my shoulder and my LCL and my ankle were all hurt simultaneously. My body was,
sucks.
it was, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not doing anything for a minimum of a month, turned into 7 weeks. And so for 7 weeks, I didn't do anything. But during that time, it wasn't like I was getting better immensely. When I found this red light therapy, since I've been doing it, I have noticed a significant change after 1 week. And it's weird. I'm going to keep going just to like kind of verify that it is real. And I absolutely would. Jorge and I are going to work out some kind of a deal. He wants to have my clients check it out, and we're going to do something. It doesn't matter. To test it out. But now that I've done it, and now that I'm seeing actual results from it, I'm much more likely to get on board with him as opposed to in the beginning when I was
not knowing what it is.
He hit me up on Instagram 2 or 3 times before I even met with him, just because I was like, okay, I looked at it. I knew some of the equipment he had in his recovery center, and he's got some good stuff. He's got an O2 machine for like, I think measuring VO2 max. He's got those PowerTech compression sleeves. Have you ever done those before?
I've seen them. I've never done them.
Oh my word.
Do I need to go?
Yeah. They have ones, I didn't even know this. They have, they do arms, legs, and torso. They have ones for your entire body up to your neck. And
Okay.
it feels really good when you're done.
Does it just like kind of compact?
Yes,
your
it
arm?
compresses. The suit fills with air. And it basically forces circulation. It's like when you lay on your arm and then you wake up and there's like a heartbeat in your arm.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like in your legs, in your
a
arm.
weird feeling.
And he says the best time to do it, the optimal time to do it is before you do a workout. I don't know that much about it, but I know that it's very popular in high level facilities. We had it at PEP, and that's my first time trying it. It felt great.
I mean, the red light as well. That's what Dr. DeRay was telling us about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you were there, actually. It was me and Dad.
Did he actually get one? Dad, did he get a red light therapy thing?
It's a small one. It's not like a unit where it's like a tanning bed. It's just one quick unit. He's still working on it just to see
Does
if it
he
works.
have a
No.
See, he needs to get, the unit that they have at this facility, I think, is somewhere in the ballpark of 25 grand.
Jeez.
But that is what he needs to get. The one that they use at this facility where I tell him, I go in and he's like, okay, what's hurting? I'm like, my shoulder's hurting. He goes, okay, where? Point to it. And then he just, he just holds it there for like 2 minutes. And then I move it a little bit. And then he does another 2 minutes. He does like 10 minutes in a joint. And again, first couple times he did it, I was like, I don't know if it worked. I don't know. Like I get out of the ice bath and I know something happened.
Yeah.
Get into the ice, get into the heat. I get out and I feel great the whole rest of the day. My joints don't click. I don't feel sore. I don't feel stiff. I feel very, very, just relaxed and recovered.
The euphoric state.
You don't feel anything when you get out of this laser treatment until you get home and you're like, that's interesting. That doesn't hurt as much as it did before I went in there. Weird. Must be a coincidence. And then each day it gets a little better.
I feel like the older I get, the more I realize that like conventional wisdom when it comes to like the medical field in general, your body is very powerful. It can heal itself, especially when it comes to like the natural path. And I think we've talked about like the ice bath and now this red light. That's more of like the natural way of doing it versus pills or surgery or anything like that.
Certainly.
it just seems like a way better path that people are getting more aware of because of.
You always want to
it
be kind
helps.
of on the forefront of this. And that's what I love this industry. I love that it's an industry that gets to help people. I love that it's an industry that you can basically self-make yourself in. You can grow. You can create something that's original still. I mean, anybody who thinks the fitness industry is like tapped out or you can't make something original in it, you're wrong. You can. Obviously, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And like you said, it's allowing people to have alternative means of health as opposed to big pharma Western medicine.
Yeah.
And you take it a step further and tell people, okay, if you don't take advantage of what I'm telling you, the training, the recovery, the cutting edge technology, the training, programs we put together for you, you're not going to pay for that, but you are going to pay Western medicine and, big pharma later on in your life. You're going to have surgery. You're going to have problems with your whatever.
Your health.
You're going to have health problems. You're going to pay for them in one way or the other.
And I actually had a question because I don't know if you've actually addressed this in any of your other podcasts, but the cold therapy, Wim Hof.
Yeah.
That's his first name, Wim, W-I-M.
Wemhof. Yes.
Okay.
We have, but we can. Absolutely. Yeah. It's outstanding.
Like, how did you discover him? How did you even find out who he was and how he learned about it?
I through Dad. I mean, because of what he was going through with his nerve damage from the black mold. Wim Hof, I'd known of him. He was in a Super Bowl commercial. That's the first time I ever saw him. He's running
Pepsi,
around.
right?
Huh?
Was it Pepsi or was it Coke?
I don't remember. But he was sitting in the snow, Indian style, and they're like, "Are you cold?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Who is that?" And then someone was like, "Oh, it's this guy. He does these weird, feats of strength in the cold, and he can do anything in the cold. He can like survive on Everest and stuff." And of course, like everything else, I went into it kind of as a skeptic, but I really, really appreciate what he's doing, and I love the power of the cold, and that it's not, he'll be the first to admit it. He's like, "Oh, I didn't create or discover anything." He's like, "The cold's always been here." And there's been, it's a very, very ancient means of staying healthy. People in, Nordic tribes for thousands of years, people in cold areas have known that the cold will heal them. It's just us recently, and I say recently in the last 150, 200 years, where we don't really lean toward that because we are so reliant on Western medicine and on anything.
And we're comfortable. I mean, this isn't an air-conditioned room, but in general,
So
most of the
comfortable.
day,
Yeah.
we're in air-conditioned rooms. I mean, we live in Arizona, so it's extremely hot in the summers. If you're
Cars
not in
have
there-
AC, our houses have AC and heat, our pools have heat, everything is designed to get us comfortable, and seeking out discomfort is really the key to a comfortable life. And that does not just apply to the cold. I mean, think about everything that our entire business model is designed around helping people figure out new ways to seek discomfort. That's and that right there, that could be a t-shirt, seek discomfort.
Yeah.
It's there's so much truth in those two words that I cannot even express. Getting addicted to a lifestyle of comfort and efficiency, may seem easy in the beginning, but in the long run, there are oftentimes real pitfalls we don't even see in front of us, and none more so than with your health. If we live a cozy American McDonald's life, you are going to see real problems later on.
And it really makes you treasure how far we've come when you have those difficulties, and you can still enjoy the comfort of your life, but seek those opportunities of making yourself uncomfortable and actually enjoying it, because it makes everything much more special.
Get uncomfortable 5% of your day. Like 5% of your day. If 95% of your day can be spent at work, whatever, in an air-conditioned room, in your car, with your family, 5% of the day, you need to run in the heat. You need to, and that's another thing, we talked about Camelback earlier. I love hiking it in the middle of the summer. Right now, to me, is kind of boring. Like right now is, frankly, annoying because everyone's there and
Weather's
you can't
pretty
even
great.
get into the weather's nice. The weather is nice.
It's really nice. I'm fine with it.
It's really nice. I like it when it's hot. I like it when it's July. Because for me, it's you get out there and everyone, people are like scared, and people are like the marshal's there with a big sign telling people to go away. And I appreciate that so much more because it's such a bigger challenge on your body. I love the heat and I love the extreme cold. I just love extremes in both spectrums.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be different when it comes to the heat. That's not, honestly, extreme On both sides, like we've talked about, like when we
What would
went
you rather, the extreme heat or the extreme cold?
extreme heat.
You'd rather go extreme heat? Like if for 1 month you had to do an ice bath, call it 10 minutes one time a week, or you had to hike Camelback one time per week, what would you rather do?
Two very different things, because one, it's like a very active movement. The other is you're just laying there, but you're still in pain.
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
In the beginning.
It would, yeah. I mean, so I'd probably do the ice bath.
Over Camelback.
Yeah,
it's over quicker. That's for sure. I mean, you got to figure
more recovery.
How fast can you make it up Camelback? Have you ever timed it?
As fast as you. I mean, back when I was playing basketball, I could break 30 minutes. Not
remember when we
20.
went up? Remember when I pushed you up? Literally pushed you up flat iron.
Oh no! I remember like it was yesterday. It was probably 3 years ago. I remember.
Where's this freaking rock?
Yeah, it was not close. He kept telling me, "Oh, we're just gonna make it to this specific rock."
There's just
and
one red rock. It's right on the other side of that.
You'll know it when you see it. And 30 minutes later, we still haven't found the rock that we're supposed to go to and then stop.
That's a much more difficult hike, I think, than Camelback.
It's longer.
It's longer.
If you're running, yeah, it's gonna be more difficult. If you're just walking, it's probably still more difficult, but
I think it's as steep an incline. I don't know that for a fact. I know obviously the square footage to get to the top is a lot higher elevation wise, but I don't know the incline. I want to say there's parts that are definitely comparable to Camelback.
Well, Camelback can be steep at some part. I mean, there's stairs. It's commercialized.
It's basically a Stairmaster. And that I love. I love that about Camelback, that it's not really, I say it's not dangerous. More people die there than Mount Everest. But
wait, is that a fact?
That's a fact. More people die there.
Probably more people are there by like
a
mile.
by a landslide.
Yeah.
Thousands of people hike Camelback every month.
We need to look at the analytics and see like what the actual percentage is of like the people who like do Camelback versus Mount Everest. I bet it's less for Camelback just because of how many people are going.
Yeah.
But I did not know that more people die at Camelback. That's crazy.
Dude, I've seen two.
Yeah.
I've seen two people die on Camelback Mountain.
I didn't see it, but when I went up, apparently a rock slipped and literally landed on a guy. Were you there at that?
No,
but I called you.
I went that week. I remember you told me, you're like, yeah, be careful. Some guy got crushed by a rock.
It was just raining or something like the day before.
Yeah. I know exactly the area where it happened too. That canyon where that happened, that's the exact same spot where I saw that guy drop dead of a heart attack. I don't know what's going on in that canyon, but like it's...
No, I mean, it's
still dangerous.
It's so dangerous, and it's horrible because I mean, just in an instant, it's kind of out of your control. Which obviously
the rock falling thing is definitely a freak.
It's
not.
Rare.
That's so rare because, like you said, that thing is moved around, so everyone walks on it. Every rock in that entire pathway is secure because everyone has stepped on it. And if it wasn't secure, someone would have pushed it away by now. It doesn't move all that much. Really, only time is after it rains. Mm-hmm. If it's raining, I mean, I've hiked it in the rain. It becomes basically a waterfall.
That doesn't shock me.
But it's it's not compared to Flatiron. Dude, Flatiron is like, if you're lucky, you'll roll your ankle and that's it. Like Flatiron can be really intense.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'd choose the treadmill. It's a much easier choice.
Of the three?
Yeah, of the three, if I had to choose one, I'm the comfort of the AC, just running a few miles here and there. Yeah, I'll pick that.
Regardless, man, it's awesome that you've taken the steps to train. What are you training now? 5 days a week? 6 days a week?
6 days, and then I try to at least 2 to 3 times run in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing hot yoga. You're doing that with us as well. We need to get back to that. You and I have both not gone. I mean,
Two of the times were not my fault. They were booked, and there was nothing you can do.
I am sincerely thinking about finding another spot.
Really?
I love Yoga Spot, but this is absolute crap. You can't get a spot unless you are... What Jake does is actually what I'm going to probably try. Every time I go in, I'm going to also book for the next week. That's a good idea.
That's probably why they've been booked up weeks in advance.
That's the thing. I've been calling. This last week, I called 3 days in advance, and they're like, sorry, it's gone. I'm like, okay, can you put me in the list? They're like, yes, but you're 5th in line.
Oh, my gosh.
So
there's nothing to do there.
I'll try it. I'll try to do it earlier, but Yoga Spot, man, they got to do more classes or something. I don't know.
Wait, isn't there a yoga thing being built at the Agrotopia place?
There is I don't know about that, but I know there is I'm excited. There is actually, it's called, I think it's called, oh man, my client told me about it this week. It's called Heat Works or something like that. What it is, it's a spin class, in a sauna.
Sounds horrible. Probably
Doesn't
won't
it?
join you on that. No, I'll
But
probably go once.
they do hot yoga too.
Okay.
They do hot yoga, they do spin, they do Pilates, they do all this stuff in the heat. I mean, it just, yeah. It seems like it would be a heck of a way to get your cardio in if you wanted to do that.
Now, if you compare the ice bath to doing hot yoga, I'm going to pick hot yoga.
Over the ice bath.
But both of those are kind of recovery, kind of.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I'd probably pick hot yoga.
Hot
even though
yoga
it's
is
a lot
80
longer.
minutes, though. You would really take hot yoga over the ice bath.
For me, I can get out of my head in hot yoga. I can't get out of my head in the ice bath. I'm just thinking I'm going to die the entire time. At least with hot yoga, it's like, oh, I'm doing a stretch. If it's way too hard, I can go in child's pose. I usually try not to do that. But
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. You try to stick with the flow.
Yeah, you try to stick with the flow as
Dude,
best you can.
I do not know what's going to happen to me. I mean, when I got off Camelback in 24 minutes, I was like, oh, I'll be honest, I was really happy with myself. I don't think I'm going to be happy with myself when I go into hot yoga after this long sabbatical. I think it's going to suck.
Oh,
Flexibility
it's no joke.
leaves you. Mm-hmm. Flexibility leaves you faster than, for me, it certainly leaves me faster than muscle mass. Like my flexibility will dissipate if I'm not working on it every week.
And anyone that gives us crap for doing hot yoga has clearly never done hot yoga before.
Oh,
because
100%.
that is no joke.
No.
It really is not fun. I mean, I kind of have fun for like the beginning, but it is not.
You were
something
really
you joke
those.
about.
Is it just me? I never remember the last 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, I
I don't
out.
remember it at all. I just remember, oh, we're the end. That's the end. I never remember the last 12 poses.
You know when they do like the 4 circuits, like the first one's kind of like
Flows,
medium,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then it's like slower, and then really fast, and then it's like slow.
Uh-huh.
After the third one, the rest of the time, I'm not there.
Yeah,
my mind
you
is
kinda
gone.
just go away.
My body's moving. My mind is not there. I'm not in it. I'm gone.
But it's so good for you. Hot
Oh,
yoga
yeah.
really is the way to go.
So same question to you. Would you rather do the ice bath over hot yoga?
Oh, man. I definitely do the ice bath more than I do hot yoga, and because of that, I would probably say the ice bath, just because I'm so much more accustomed to it, and it's right here.
Yeah.
And it's quicker. And it's not just that, it's contrast therapy. You can't just do. I remember the days where I didn't have the sauna and I just had the ice bath.
Oh, I did
That
too.
was an entirely different experience. Like, you got in there and then you got into the shower. It didn't matter if that shower was hot, because the shower doesn't get all of you. It gets your back or your shoulder or like
Just
your head.
slowly move.
Just slowly move, and you just you feel like Batman when he falls into the frozen lake. You just can't recover. You go in that sauna, it's a lot more. It's a well-rounded heat. And it's dry. I don't know why that dry heat just really does it. It really does it after the ice bath.
So I know there's many different kinds of saunas. I know kind of your point of view when it comes to the sauna that you have. What is that called?
I hate infrared saunas.
So like, do you think it is beneficial at all to do
It's
infrared?
more beneficial than not doing it at all, I suppose.
Okay.
I just don't like them. I've never been a fan of infrared saunas. I think they take too long to heat up. They take too long to get me hot. And I'm going in it off the base assumption that everyone has told me how amazing it is for me. And that's what I keep telling myself. Like, okay, nothing's happening, but it must be amazing for me because everyone told me it's amazing for me. I like mine. I mean, my sauna gets to 200 degrees in 10 minutes. You go in there, you're like, okay, yep, something's happening to me. It's absolutely hot. I'm going to have to concentrate on my breathing. I don't have to concentrate on my breathing in the infrared. It's like I just go in there and just chill, and maybe I sleep. I could fall asleep in there. I could not fall asleep in my sauna.
You would probably die.
Not
if you
more than
fell
once.
asleep in your, yeah. Well, no, you wouldn't make it out.
I don't know how I couldn't fall asleep. There's a big difference between passing out and falling asleep. I could fall asleep in an infrared sauna. I would not
same.
fall asleep in that sauna. That sauna is like keeping you're just like panicking toward the end.
Oh, I was. I mean, we literally just did it tonight, and it got to the end. I was like, "You ready to go?"
I feel so
You're
good
like,
right
"Yep."
now. You just feel so good when it's done.
I'm very happy for you. I hope nothing terrible happens. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it is even though I didn't do the ice bath because I'm still waiting for summer to come.
Yeah.
So that it's a little easier.
It is a
even though it's
lot
not.
easier. Oh, when it's 120, there's nothing better than jumping into that ice bath. It's outstanding.
Thank you. Because Jake was like, there's no difference. I feel like psychologically,
He's a liar.
there is a difference. He just wants me to go in right now. That's what he wants.
Well, okay, he's He's not lying in the sense that you're going to be as cold as you're ever going to be when you're in that tub, no matter what's going on outside.
But the after is a lot easier.
Maybe
not a lot.
Not with the sauna. I mean, with the sauna, again, it's the exact same. But it's the psychological. It's those 2 to 3 minutes when you get into the shower, when if the shower's cold, if it's not, if the world outside is kind of chilly and you're about to get into the ice bath, it takes a mental fortitude just to get to the water's edge. Mm-hmm. But if it's 120 outside, you're like,
easy.
Get me in there. Get me in there. It's so hot out there. It feels good. It feels so good when you get in there. But either way, it's awesome to do. This was awesome, man. This was a good podcast.
Heck yeah.
I like it.
I mean, it's pretty easy just to have a conversation, especially since half the day this is what we usually do.
We need to have, Jake keeps talking about it, but we need to get, because we could easily pop a third person right here. Mm-hmm. You could have like me, you, or me, Jake, and the guest. Mm-hmm. It's just coming down to technology. I don't know if we can put a splitter into a splitter. That's what's going to have to happen.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's one that we
has
have to
3.
buy.
Yeah, that has 3. Well, we can look.
Or get one that just has multiple, and that way it's... no matter how many guests you have, which we would probably stick to 3 or maybe 4.
No, you couldn't because that person would have their head to the camera. It wouldn't work. So you'd have to do 3. But
we'll just put whoever we don't like
there. A 3-person podcast is dope, man. Like
whoever we don't like, we put right there.
Yeah.
You
just get the back of his head. It's fine. We don't need to see his face.
We'll put the ugly one there. Who's the ugliest? I'm just kidding. We'll probably end it before that one, but no, this was awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a lot
I'm happy
of fun,
to be
isn't
on.
It? You like the free-flowing conversation?
Yeah, it was definitely something that when it comes to like the improv perspective, I kind of forget that we are usually really quick on our feet when it comes to different topics. But if I was a guest that like had not
you're like afraid of messing up.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. I say stupid stuff all the time. My phrasing and like sometimes like my words do not come across how I mean them, and it's just a recipe for disaster when it comes to this usually.
Sure.
But I mean, today I thought was pretty good. It's easy.
Absolutely. And it's a great platform to have a free-flowing dialogue, and that's what people like. Mm-hmm. People hate commercials. And that's why the YouTube channel is going to be great.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Eli, this was awesome. Cheers, brother.
Heck yeah. It was
That's
awesome.
the end. We'll stop it there. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast. If you guys like our content and you want to see more of it, click the subscribe button down below, or as always, you can follow us on any of our other social media platforms. Stay fit, you guys, stay healthy, and become the 1%.